Okay, so I'm off on my first Lake Superior adventure, and it's so far so good. I'm motoring because there's no wind. I'm about 20 minutes out of the port of Grand Marais, and as you can see, towing the dinghy, and the lake is flat as a pancake. So we'll see how it goes. Had to fix starter on the engine before I started, so that's a good omen that happened in the harbor. Otto von Helm is working here, and yeah, we'll take it from here. So some unexpected excitement on my first leg of my solo Lake Superior adventure. Disabled sailboat about 15 miles ahead of me, and the Coast Guard is calling for boats to see if they can help, but a research vessel apparently was closer and is on their way to help tow them in. They have apparently it's a sailing vessel with their transmission out, and as you can see behind me, there's absolutely no wind. So anyway, some radio excitement. It's only about 15 miles from me, and hopefully they'll be fine. If they need me, I'll motor up there and see if I can help them. Good morning. It's the morning of my second day of my Lake Superior adventure, first solo sail trip on Lake Superior. I'm at the Horseshoe Bay dock in Hovland, Minnesota, and this morning I woke up to before dawn at 5, went out for a little stroll and immediately heard a pack of wolves howling about half a mile away. And right after the sun came up, 2 eagles flew by so close that I could hear their wings beating. And I'm gonna hang around before I take off a little bit because the boat is covered with ice this morning, so it's quite slippery and treacherous on deck, so I'm going to wait until that thaws. But enjoying a cup of coffee and a beautiful morning here at Horseshoe Bay. Okay, I'm off. Beautiful day sailing. Winds are about 3 to 5 knots. I'm sailing at about 3 knots, almost 4 knots on a broad reach, and just going by Big Bay and Cindy's childhood home. It's supposed to build to 20 knots with 7-foot seas this afternoon, so I'm headed for the Suzy Islands to get on a sheltered anchorage and stay out of that business. So far so good. Okay, day 2 of Bill's solo Superior adventure. Very restful night here in Big Suzy Island. Very nice anchorage, and yeah, all is well. Having my granola for breakfast, and a boat just went by, proving that I'm not the only one out here. And it's a beautiful sunrise this morning. Well, underway on Friday, my 3rd day of solo Lake Superior adventure, and headed from the Suzy Islands to Isle Royale, and I'm out in 375 feet of water, still closer to the Suzy's, and just kind of bobbing along at 2 to 3 knots with very light wind, but I'm in no hurry, so I'm just going to sail along. The winds are supposed to pick up to 10 and even higher maybe this afternoon, but I'll be at the dock by then going for a hike. So all is well, slow as it goes. Sunday morning. I'm leaving Washington Harbor and Wendigo Dock, where I had a really nice time. Some epic hikes. Saw a lot of wildlife, otters and eagles and fish and all kinds of stuff. Kind of busy sailing here because I'm sailing out of the channel and trying to film at the same time. So I'll just say it looks like a beautiful day, and I'm headed for Sisquit Bay, and I'll check in later. All right, leaving Washington Harbor. It's kind of a hectic exit as I tried to sail out of a narrow channel with pretty stiff winds. I've got first reef in both the head and the mainsail, but right now it's calm. I'm actually behind Washington Island right now, so you can see Rock of Ages lighthouse right over there. And yeah, it should be good. It might be a little hectic on the southwest side of the island. Pretty high winds right behind me, but once I get around the corner to the southeast side of the island, I should be able to control the wind pretty nicely. Northwest wind today. So far so good. A couple of hectic moments, but now it's smooth sailing. So I'm around on the south side of the island now, and things are much nicer. The sun came out, the swell has gone down, and the wind is a little bit sheltered by the island, so I'm cruising at about 5.5 knots, 100 feet of water. I see why people think Isle Royale is dangerous, because it could go from 100 feet to 5 feet in a heartbeat, so you have to stay on your toes around here, but so far all is well. I should be in Sisquit Bay by noon or so, and on my anchorage by 2, I hope, and then I can take a hike to the fire tower. So yeah, very pleasant sailing right now. Just could not be better. All right, arrived in Sisquit Bay, found a nice anchorage right by the dock. The dock, as you can see behind me, is closed for construction. I left Washington Harbor, Wendigo, at about 6:30 this morning, and arrived here at 3 p.m. A lot of tacking coming up the bay, which was fun but slow. But I got here completely by sail, set a good anchor, I think, and it's very peaceful here, and I'm gonna have a little Colby and summer sausage sandwich and a little bit of water, and then I'm going to head up to the lookout tower. Maybe stay up there for sunset. Maybe take my headlamp and stay up there for sunset. So another adventure, this time on land. You first see the tower. Always kind of creepy and cool at the same time. 5.5 miles one way. Pretty easy trail, kind of steep uphill toward the end. But I think I'm too tired to climb up the stairs. Maybe I'll try to slowly crawl up there. We'll see. Good morning. It's Monday morning and the adventure continues, but right now I'm more or less becalmed, making a sturdy 2.2 knots coming out of Sisquot Bay, but it's okay. I'm drinking my coffee and soaking in the sights and sounds of this beautiful place. The winds are supposed to switch east to 5 and then southeast later. The weather looks really bad tomorrow. Small craft warnings, winds 15 to 20 with gusts to 30, waves up to 5 feet. So I think I'm going to head back toward Grand Marais today and see how far I get. If I can't, if the winds are light, I might hole up at Horseshoe Bay and then come in early tomorrow morning, but we'll see. Play it by ear. The adventure continues. Slept like a log last night after hiking 11 miles until 8 o'clock at night, but it was sure worth it. What a beautiful sight that was from the lookout tower. Never pass up the opportunity to climb a lookout tower. So hopefully these east winds will materialize soon and we can get to sailing. Well, I'm trying to sail everywhere, but I gave up. There's absolutely no wind, and I need to make a little time here to avoid that bad weather tomorrow. So I decided to start the motor and motor out of Sisquot Bay. And hopefully when I get out on the lake, the wind will kick up. It's 9 o'clock now. Usually the winds come up around 10, so I haven't given up hope. And it's probably best to get out through this tricky reef while it's still calm too. So make my life a little less stressful. So that's the report. Hoping for wind. Okay, I'm out on the open lake now. It's about 10 o'clock and it is flat as a pancake, not a breath of wind. So shut the motor off for a little respite from the noise, and I think I'm gonna have a second breakfast because later on it might be too rough for making lunch. So take advantage of this nice weather, enjoy some of the fall colors up on the hillside, and just relax a little bit. Maybe another cup of coffee too, who knows? Because I think it's gonna get windy later, so yeah, it's very relaxing. Well, I had a very nice second breakfast and started motoring again, and as you can see from the ripples behind me here, that that east wind is finally manifesting, although it's about a tenth of a mile an hour right now. So I'm going to continue to motor. It looks like it might be a little stronger up ahead, but we'll see what happens. So happy day, sailing again. The east wind finally materialized. It's at about 3 knots, 4 knots. So slow but peaceful and definitely making progress. So it's a weird day. The sky is very brassy and hazy, and not really blue. It's sort of a white gray. So you can tell bad weather's coming, but not today. It'll be a good day. Just cruising along the south shore of Isle Royale. I'm going to go around the Rock of Ages reef and then just head straight across the lake toward Horseshoe Bay. We'll see what happens from there. Well, it doesn't really get much better than this. Got about 4 knots of wind, 5 knots, so cruising at about 3.5 to 4 knots. No swell, just a light chop, and just a beautiful day, and watching Isle Royale go by and listening to the North Mississippi All-Stars on the Bluetooth speaker. So life is good. Alright, so this has been the last few hours motoring downwind on this really weird looking night. The sun is just a pink globe and making a really weird color in the water. Wind just switched to the east, which is supposed to be overnight with thunderstorms. You can see some black clouds over there. So anyway, going into the Horseshoe Bay dock, it's supposed to be fairly windy, but east in the morning, in the early morning. So I'm going to get up early and blow into Grand Marais before the big blow comes, 20 mile an hour southwest winds with gusts to 40 tomorrow afternoon. So that's the plan. Yeah, worst case scenario, I can just leave the boat at Horseshoe Bay until Wednesday morning, and it's supposed to be a very nice day on Wednesday. So we'll see what happens. But anyway, it's been unfortunately an engine-driven crossing from Isle Royale today, most of the way, but still very enjoyable. All right, Tuesday morning, Horseshoe Bay, just leaving. That's Horseshoe Bay behind me. A little bit foggy out here, but not too bad. Spotty fog, and actually very little wind in spite of the dire predictions of yesterday. It is supposed to build southwest 15 to 20 today, gusts to 30, but worse down by Duluth, I guess. So the forecast here has been moderated somewhat. So right now, not much wind at all. Hopefully I can sail back if it picks up here quickly. Yeah, so successful night at Horseshoe Bay, successful docking in the dark, and off to the races. So after leaving Horseshoe Bay, I thought I'd take advantage of this kind of dense fog that was blowing in and out to swing in close to shore and get some shots of a really spooky abandoned giant cement house that's up there in Hovland. My friend Matt calls it the Zombie Hut, and it's a landmark for sailors. It's about a 30,000 square foot house that was abandoned, halfway built back in the 80s, and it's just stayed that way. And so got in close to shore and got these shots, and then started to see some pretty shallow water, and the fog was getting thicker, so I decided to turn and head out from shore. And I went out about half a mile, shut the engine off, and was just picking up and coiling ropes. I was up on deck, and I glanced up, and I saw this boat, and I thought it was surprised me, because I wondered who was out there in the fog. I thought it might be a fishing boat at first, and then I thought about the experimental vessel that I knew was in the area. Gradually I started the motor and motored closer and found out that it was a 1,000 foot ore carrying vessel called the Stewart Court, and it was sitting there in the fog. No lights, not moving, making no sound, just bobbing there a mile or so offshore near Hovland, well out of any known shipping lanes. So it scared the pants off me, and I went back as close to shore as I dared and started motoring at about 3 knots just to be on the safe side. Now what? Spar of a sunken ship. Just to add to the hazards, well now it's, oh there it is. 5 Mile Rock comes looming out of the fog. Just a half mile or so to my starboard. Been quite a day. quite an adventuresome day out here. I'm sailing again though. There is a little bit of a breeze. I'm going to try to sail the last 5 miles into the harbor.